Man, I dove deep into a rabbit hole that I had no interest getting this involved in, and for good reasons, but here I am. I got more than I bargained for, and I'm frankly not in the greatest of moods, to be honest. Before I explain to you what exactly is happening, let me ask you this. You know the internet, right? Of course you do. You're using it right now to watch this poor quality rant video. Well, I'm certain you all are aware the internet isn't such a perfect place considering the types of people that reside on it, and especially in the spoofing community, because it's surely fallen from grace as time has passed. However, I don't think I saw someone handle the situation more badly than the guy who I'm about to talk about. However, I want everyone to know I'm still going to be going back to my break after this, because I still don't know if I trust myself yet, and I'm fairly certain I'm still in hot water with a lot of people who are here. So I'm not sure if I can bring myself to come back, even at this time, because I still feel like I've got tons of improvement I need to get through with, even after being gone this long. Because I've been out of this community for a while now, yet I still don't feel like I can bring myself to walk right back in, because I don't know if I feel welcome again yet. So once I'm done with this video, I'm going to be heading off again, so hopefully everybody understands. But anyway, you all remember Connor, right? CTC Productions? I'm sure at least a majority of you do. If no, then welcome to my little crash course. You're going to learn quite a bit about this guy. So Connor is a member of the community as we still speak. He's been around for quite some time now, and he's really grew in a good amount of subscribers. He was quite popular, and his spoofs, I guess, were rather plausible. And all was well. So how did things turn for the worst? Well, quite a few things actually happened. Before I say anything else, there's actually a doc on the whole situation with Connor in the description. So you can check that out, as it's way more detailed and in-depth than a crummy low-budget commentary video made specifically by me. So I'd suggest checking that out. I'd suggest checking that one out, as I'm not going to show the full context. I'm only going to show portions along with my side. But anyways, back to what I came for. Connor has always really seemed to think of himself as a hardworking and respectful person. And he has, to an extent, looked up to Disney. And while I felt that was true for a while and saw some good in him, I started to have doubts about it once I saw his more aggressive behavior towards me and other users start to come out. To start things off, a long while back, there was a member of the community named Devon who also went with another alias called Blood Rose Bat. And while he was well-intentioned and probably mostly a good person, he never listened to anyone who needed personal space. He was always really clingy and always trying to get attention from Connor specifically, and always kept making them friends and mentioning him on MeWe, such as in posts he'd say something along the lines of, CTC Productions and I are best friends, or CTC Productions, what do you think of this ship? And Connor was understandably pretty annoyed about it, as I think anyone would if it happened to them nonstop. The point is, Devon was nonstop bothering Connor, to a point where if Connor asked him to stop politely, Devon would just say okay and still do it again and again, like a repetitive phrase. And a repetitive phase. Sorry, I can't even fucking speak. I apologize. And that led to Connor constantly blowing his fuses and lashing out and even blocking Devon. However, despite all that, I gave Devon a chance because he's autistic just like me. The only difference is that he is low functioning and pretty severe, which, even though it's no excuse, it's still an explanation for why this was an occurrence and why he was doing this in the first place. Because Devon had a hard time understanding things. What would end up happening was Devon would pester me about Connor, asking me to ask Connor to unblock him, which I only did once or twice, but as time went on and Connor couldn't keep forgiving Devon, it was after that instance when Devon kept getting more desperate and asking me for help, along with manipulating and gaslighting me, which led to me having to block him. The thing is, I kept feeling like I was abandoning Devon, so I kept going back to him, which clearly was a mistake on my part, as he didn't help me. I have blocked him completely now because he's obviously not the right choice of a friend for me. So all I can do is hope he learns from his mistakes, and I apologize for not having the screenshots, as I lost them a while back ever since I lost my old MeWe account. So I'm sorry if it came out sounding like I lied. I didn't intend to make it sound like that. I just unfortunately don't have many of the old screenshots. However, back to Connor, who is our main focus. He has nonstop kept going back to Devon or acknowledging his posts or videos, constantly giving him attention, just to say something like, "You're stupid," or "Shut the fuck up. You're a word that you're a slur." I'm not going to say which slur it is, but it's pretty offensive. And yes, Devon has nonstop been mentioning him in posts and videos. Yet there is the simplest method of turning off notifications from a user, and yet Connor never does that. He constantly keeps going back to Devon in an obsessive manner, along with friending him again and again, and going through the same process over and over, which I question what his deal is at this rate, because walking away from a confrontation is not hard, because all he's doing is painting himself as a worse person. And here's 2 screenshots to display. Now, I'm sorry if it's too blurry to make out, as the photos aren't mine, they're from someone else. But it's pretty easy to make out what's going on, especially with what the user who captured the moment had to say about it. And here's another post Connor made, which was a post directed to Devon, which shows this as I don't really think I need to voice read it. And because you have eyes, you're seeing what's happening. And frankly, I don't want to read it, because that's how cringy it is. Jesus Christ. How does this man think he's solving anything? All he's doing is digging himself a grave to lay rest in with how bad he's fucking up the situation he's in. All he'd have to do is block Devon, and it would all be done and over with. Don't even need to call in for professional help, because it's that simple. This leads me to believe that Connor is partially obsessed with Devon. And if that's so, then he needs to seriously turn off his computer and just take a damn break from the internet, because he's making a big deal over something that should be super easy to solve. But all he's doing is showing himself to be an asshole more and more. However, it will get worse. And I'm not over-exaggerating. It's gonna get worse. As someone made a review on Ghostbusters: The Frozen Empire, which, if you ask me, was pretty mid as hell. But that's just my opinion, and that's that. People are allowed to state their opinions on the internet, which again, I'm aware that there's always going to be those types of folks who are going to disagree. However, Connor took it way too far with what he had to say here. As this person, all they did was express their feelings on a movie, which I haven't seen the video myself, but considering the trolls characters are on the cover of it, clearly showing angered expressions, I think it's safe to say that they didn't like the movie, which is totally fine by me, as I didn't enjoy it much either. However, Connor gets so frustrated with this person that he has the gall to tell them to do something more productive, as if he does anything productive at all. A review is a review. People are allowed to speak their opinions on the internet, my friend. They did nothing wrong. So the fact that you had to say all that to their face makes you more scummy. And people I'm assuming have come forward with this. As I'm fairly certain people did come forward with this earlier on, as shown by this screenshot. Which, disclaimer, I don't know if this person, Postal Pickles, said something Connor was against, or if he called him out. But either way, Connor once again handles this in the worst way possible. Again, I apologize for the blurriness. This isn't my screenshot specifically, but you all can pretty much tell what's going on here. Connor, not even in a common collective manner, says, "Take the post down," and when Postal says no, Connor goes into a full-on butthurt monologue about how this man is harassing him, which is hypocritical because Connor had no issue saying things directly to Devon and Trolls Band Together fan 2001, and he proceeds to act like any of what he's doing isn't a big deal and tries baiting for sympathy points from what it seems. And let me be the first to say, Connor is not making his image look any better. And imagine evolving for many years as Neanderthals only to evolve into this. It's mad cringe. Again, I'm not 100% caught up on the CTC lore, but the doc will hopefully help you all get a good understanding. And I'll say it again, Connor isn't looking any more innocent, and good Christ, we're only about 20 out of 100% of this we're only through about 20 out of 100% of this chaos. Because it's only going to get more and more ridiculous. Because of his attitude, Connor has been getting messages everywhere, from DeviantArt to Twitter and YouTube, from different people alike, calling him out for his toxic and potentially dangerous behavior. The thing is, Connor responds to literally any person calling him out as he would to a troll, which isn't any more justified, as he should just be a man and ignore them. Another example similar to Postal Pickles is him saying this to who is more than likely a minor, as I'm fairly certain this is connected to the next screenshot that we're going to see real soon, is him bringing this up to a minor saying, treating me like I deserve to die, which is beyond insane, because why is he bringing this out of the blue? If a person is seriously bothering or trolling you, you should just ignore them. However, if this person is criticizing you, then why don't you listen to what they need to say? Because it could be genuinely helpful, but instead you make an overly big deal when it doesn't need to be. And here's Act 2 of the clusterfuck, which is when someone called him out for what I can only assume was the comment from the previous image, and proceeds to act like people want him to die when I haven't seen a single comment that's been saying that to him. And if there was, then just press the damn block button. It's not hard at all. And now we're at the stage where shit hits the fan, because I nearly dropped my phone in shock after reading the comments on the next two screenshots. According to Connor, he had a fight with his sister over something small, and it got out of control fast. Apparently, he got mad at her when she was trying to give him advice over something, and while I don't know the full story behind, I'm fairly certain it was no big deal from the start. But knowing Connor, he made it one. As you can read here, and proceeded to hit his sister with a pillow, and while that's pretty tame and not as bad as most actions, he could have done a lot better because that was uncalled for. He proceeds to say all this to Kiko, and keep in mind, Kiko was absolutely right with what he's saying, because all Connor's sister was trying to do was give him advice with whatever he was going through. I really think his mental health isn't in the right place at the moment. And I think he needs to get offline and get help, because this isn't a healthy behavior. Before I move on, I would like to state that there's a lot more to uncover, but I'm running out of time, so the doc is probably the doc is probably what you should read if you want the full story from other people's perspectives. I'm just going to cut to the chase for my side of the story. After he got exposed for everything, Connor either had his channel terminated or he deleted it along with his MeWe and I believe his Twitter in an attempt to erase his name, which I'm fairly certain it's the latter. However, he came back in another account on YouTube as Jeremy Stone and his MeWe account as Peter Johnson Stone, along with a TikTok account, which I didn't even know he had, and I'm fairly certain he made a new one. And after reading the doc and learning about his unacceptable actions, I went to his TikTok and told him to apologize for his actions and get off the internet, as simple as that. And while he didn't listen, which was expected, he proceeded to say this. He acts like me supporting Faith, whom I found the doc from on Twitter as she reposted it. He acts like that's a bad thing, that I support Faith. All Faith has done is call him out for his shit, and he acts like she's some sort of criminal just for speaking her mind. It's unbelievable how someone can be in such insane amounts of denial. And I told him that. And his response was, "Oh, but I don't want to have my YouTube career ruined after what she did," which is a petty excuse to not apologize, when the man has done enough to make Devon look more tolerable. And before I say anything else, I'd like to also point out that Connor made a big deal about a year ago, something about a year ago, which was over to something else, which I had an opinion on another user, which her name was Z2783 Animation. I believe that's what her name was. The thing is, I was totally with the idea of not accepting her as to be part of the Rascals, and that was because she was very immature. She was a very immature user and had been in big amounts of drama with other users. And when she was banned, Connor was bitching to me about it and saying how wrong it was that Z wasn't allowed to join, even after everything she did. It got to the point when I was arguing with him, and a few other people got involved and tried to explain the context. And while I don't have the screenshots of the even though I don't have screenshots of the entire incident, I did manage to save a few. So, I mean, yay, I guess. But the point is, I don't have all the screenshots because the account that he posted the comments on has been banished to the Shadow Realm. But I can show you this much. Yeah, insane, isn't it? Now back to where we left off. He actually apologized. Kinda. Sorta. Ish. In the worst way possible. His first instinct was to go onto Faith's channel rather than make a video on his own, which, might I remind, there's still no apology video from him. And this is what he said. This man starts trying to gain the last bit of sympathy points he can get by saying, "Oh, I'm a disgrace to the autism and spoofing community," which is everything you don't do in an apology. And then he has the guts to say that Faith was bastardizing him, treating her like a scapegoat, and like it's her fault. And then pours more salt onto an already dry enough wound to say, or take a break and think about what I've said, when Faith has done nothing wrong at all other than speak the truth. This is everything you're not supposed to do when apologizing. And then he came to my DMs later on during the same week, and well, I was pretty disgusted. Take a look. See what I mean? This is not only unacceptable, but it's disrespectful. He's throwing a pity party over the fact that Faith is supporting Mr. the Amazing Dude and Postal Pickles, which I don't blame her one bit for, because the spoofing community is a hot mess. And yes, I'm still a member of it, which even though I enjoy what I do, the people who have spoke up about it are right. The community is really quite at a low point. The fact that he's calling Amazing Dude and Postal Pickles delusional is psychotic is bold of him, considering those are the traits he has. Literally the other two didn't even do anything wrong, from what I've seen, as Postal's just coming clear with info that should be spoken up about. And while I don't know much about Mr. Amazing Dude, he's allowed to have opinions, and I'm sure he means no harm with anything he says. And once again, he has an opinion. He's a person who is allowed to tell others how he feels, especially about this community. But Connor then proceeds to say this. Yeah, I've given up all hope to help him at this point. Mr. Amazing Dude, I'm fairly certain, did nothing wrong. And even if he was stubborn about it, that's his own problem. And if he really did think all the stuff that Connor said about him, which I doubt he did, then Connor needed to be a man and just ignore it, or just take advice if that's what Amazing Dude was doing, if he was simply giving him advice as to what to do. And then Connor says all of this in his last text, which again he described himself in. Holy shit, I'm at such a loss for words. I've never found something so hard to comprehend because there were so many solutions from the start. If this was a multiple choice video game, Connor picked all the wrong ones, and he got the bad ending. Again, I don't think he's an irredeemable person, but he's acted in such a way that's immature, even for his age, and even if he's autistic and has Asperger's. It's no excuse in the slightest. My final thoughts are as easy as follows. apologize for your actions, and just get off the internet to be a better person. Connor, if you're watching this video, which I'm fairly certain you are, you need to get help and work on yourself as a person. You're not making your reputation better by acting this way. You're the only one damaging your reputation. Not Faith, not Mr. the Amazing Dude, not Postal Pickles, only you. Please, be a better person, for fuck's sakes. Thank you. So yeah, I really needed to come clean with that, and I really needed to get this all off my chest. That's about it. See ya.